is the GosuGamers World Cup Grand Finale. I'm joined by my co-host, the headhunter of GosuGamers.net. And, wow, we have an epic series for you here today. This is Fnatic MSI versus SK Gaming. Fnatic MSI currently up 2-0. They were defaulted the first game victory due to coming from the winner's bracket, and they just defeated SK Gaming in the last game, in Game 2, in a very great fashion, an unbelievable team pick, and they led it to victory. And what was a very good game, though, SK Gaming definitely hung in there, but could not hang in long enough. So that's how we're 2-0. SK Gaming hanging on for their lives. If they lose here, it is over. MSI will be your champions. SK Gaming, they are playing to survive at this point. Try to keep this alive. They will have to win 3 games straight, however, if they want to be the champions, but take it one game at a time. But first things first, like I said, I'm joined by the headhunter of GosuGamers.net. How you doing, man?
Doing great. I'm really excited for this game. Nova potentially Moon Queen once again. Clearly, they're going to go with the Moon Queen lineup just like they did last game. But yeah, I don't know. I'm really excited for Game 2. MSI able to win the whole thing right now, 10,000 smackaroos, and yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. I mean, for playing the game, I mean, again, you spread it out between 5 players, it's still $2,000 for each player individually. That's a lot of money. Like you just make just for simply playing a game. It's a decent paycheck to get. So, yeah, I'm sure both these teams are excited to even be in the situation, but definitely earned to be in the situation. We have the bands finishing up here, so let's go ahead and jump right into those. As always, very entertaining to see these bands, especially after at least 1 or 2 games. So after that first game, we have 2 more bans remaining, 1 for either side. So far, we got Bombardier, Thunderbringer, Behemoth, Pebbles, Pharaoh, and Devour. There's a Witchslayer ban. Now here it is. Does SK Gaming ban Gladiator with the last ban? We will see. It's on the board. We saw a ban last game, of course, but still MSI with just a crazy tri-heal strategy, a wild soul strategy. They made it work. No, we are not going to see Gladiator banned. In fact, Hellbringer is banned. So will MSI first pick Gladiator? Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. This is going to get interesting. But the bans are a couple of different bans, though, worth mentioning as well. Obviously, the Behemoth due to last game, and then even the Devour ban on top of that. But your thoughts on the bans here?
A lot of different. I was just surprised. Like the bans were quite different, and even heroes that were in the last game got banned, like Witchslayer. But yeah, so now we have heroes like Soulstealer available. I know Dampier got banned last game. Yeah, and that Gladiator, like you were saying. So we could see some drastically different lineups, and I'm actually pretty excited to see what both teams decide to pull out with these newly available heroes. Yeah, you see a Soulstealer pickup for Legion, so that's already going to be. It's SK's job to really stop that Soulstealer from getting that early farm in middle, so they're going to need to kind of build their lineup around countering that middle Soulstealer, or at least put someone there who can beat it.
See, this is a difficult thing, though. It's, again, they were so different. That doesn't really tell you too much, though, obviously, with the first pick, other than he will more than likely be a solo mids, like you said. Who do we match up against him now? But then you also have to keep in mind, we still need to be prepared, however, to face that perhaps tri-lane Gladiator that is very, 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 very likely to be picked up by Fnatic MSI. So we got the two first pick heroes over here on SK Gaming side. They're currently right-clicking Bubbles and Voodoo Jester. Neither one, of course, would be expected to be matched up against Soulstealer, but 2 very, very powerful heroes. See them in a lot of games, and in fact, going to be followed up right here. So, very good picks. Nothing really off the wall so far. Unlike last game, right away we had some crazy picks. But this time a little bit more standard with those Voodoo Jester and Bubbles pickups. Now, MSI, the question is, do they now go with that Gladiator pick, or do they throw us another curveball? But again, with that Soulstealer there, you expect more of a convenient lineup as, how about this? Dampier and Glacius. So we're going to see Dampier here. I'm excited.
Oh, man. We've got Team Skin from the Legion. Too bad no vacation Dampier. Hopefully, Fly goes and buys that really fast.
Buys it really fast, yeah. One of the F2 is like, oh, we need to get him that real quickly. Like, quickly enable it on his account. Yeah, so that's awesome because we actually were talking about this before we even started casting today, and the whole what's the deal with Dampier? How active has he been? I mean, I've only seen him I think twice now in competitive play. One was with Online Kingdom that defeated the same Fnatic MSI. Well, not the same, but very, very similar. Of course, they didn't have Trixie, but still, they had everyone else, and they defeated Fnatic MSI with Dampier leading the way. So definitely very powerful here. Excellent early burst. I like to compare him from the games I've seen him, similar to like a Pebbles, a Wretched Hag, a Bubbles, even just a really early game ganker with a lot of magic damage burst that can catch you off guard. Sandrith and Polywog Priest. Interesting. So they're going to go with Polywog to match up against Soulstealer.
Yeah, that's going to be... I mean, that's not a bad choice. Polywog really has good harassing abilities with that Jolt, and that will be able to keep Soulstealer back at least a bit to hopefully stop him from getting as much farm. Sandrith, an interesting pickup. Probably one of the strongest, if not the strongest late-game hero in Han, but needs so much farm like the whole game, so... I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how that works, especially if MSI picks up some sort of like Gladiator tri-lane or some strong counter tri-lane to stop that Sandwraith. And it looks like they're going to go with the Myrmidon, stealing it from SK, who went at it last time. And Electrician.
Wow.
What?
Wow.
What?
Is Bryce playing for them or something? Is he ringing for one of their guys? I mean, wow, that's interesting. See, that was the thing. I was, with that Dampier pickup, I'm kind of confused because do you run it? Can he play? I would believe he could play a solo melee. He would be matched up against Bubbles, but then there's also the thought, well, are they going to look to run the tri-lane with him, which we have seen a couple of times, and he definitely is powerful with, but... And it's similar with Electrician. We've seen him in both cases. He definitely has a very good solo lane presence, and matched up against Bubbles might not be too bad actually. He has a lot of spammable harassment. Of course, he gets that early shield, will protect a lot of damage coming out from Bubbles. So I like the pick up for obvious, simply because it is a new off-the-wall pick. Once Fnatic MSI, back-to-back games here, just going with a couple of crazy picks. But at the same time, it works. When you really think about it, it definitely works. And but now the question is, who do they have solo? Who do they have tri-lane? I believe we're going to see a Dampier, Glacius, Myrmidon tri-lane matched up at top against the Sandwraith tri-lane. A little bit of sinking the ready up there. And then that'll leave, of course, Electrician to run in the short lane against the Bubbles. That would be my take. But overall, a powerful Legion team. They got a good amount of carry potential, an excellent amount of burst. Electrician and Dampier can both put out a good chunk of burst damage on top of Soulstealer. Your thoughts, though, on the Legion team here, Headhunter?
Yeah, MSI doing some really cool lineups, and I'm really pleased that that's happening. Like, really showing us that in this grand finals, they're able to take out these kind of relatively odd and unseen lineups and probably do something crazy with them. So, I'm just kind of surprised about this Electrician pick still. I'm a little speechless.
Yeah, it definitely caught me off guard. I'm sure a lot of people are just off guard. You'd maybe expect more of a normal, like a pick to see, figure that he's going to be 1v1 matched up, something like a Madman even, but or Hellbringer, but I guess he was banned. I'm trying to think back at the bans. But yeah, with the Electrician pickup, definitely different, but he is a very powerful solo, and he's going to be in the short lane, so that works out for him too. And as expected, we're seeing the matchups that we thought we would. Again, they want to run the Dampier tri-lane, what is a very aggressive tri-lane with Myrmidon and Glacius against the Sandwraith tri-lane of the Hellborn team. Speaking of that Sandwraith tri-lane, let's go over SK Gaming's lineup now. So they went with Bubbles, Andromeda, Sandwraith, Voodoo Jester, and Polywog Priest. Definitely very much more expected lineup, very, very sound. They got the Sandwraith tri-lane, who we've seen many, many times take over games. It is going to be difficult though early on with the matchup that they have, so it's going to come down to how well Voodoo Jester and Andromeda support him. But then they got Polywog Priest to match up, as we talked about, against the Soulstealer, and then of course Bubbles against Electrician. I think Bubbles will do just fine. However, Electrician is definitely a very hard target or hard hero to go up against solo, because he can not only take a good amount of damage, but also output a good amount, as well as taking a lot of creep kills. Yeah. So
absolutely. And this Electrician also pretty much a pretty big force to be reckoned with if he could get farmed. He can just dish out a ton of damage, and that shield makes him so tanky that he's going to be a big player in the team fighting phase for MSI, and he's really going to prevent SK from dealing out all the damage that they really want to do. We do see counter wards straight off from Voodoo Jester on the pull camp to allow the SK tri-lane to pull a very smart move. Like, they need to pull to beat a counter tri-lane, and that's what's going to give them an advantage against this tri-lane, is their ability to pull.
Definitely is, and of course, with that change to wards as well, you see not only costing 100 gold. They are talking about spikes in the server. See even a remake question mark put out, though. Would be curious if that is the case. We're going to have a pause here.
Now it's a competitive game. So
yeah.
This one will...
There we go. Now it's actually competitive. SK is complaining a little bit about spiking, so we'll see what the deal is.
One other thing that's interesting, what do you think about bottle first on Soul Stealer in this middle lane? I mean, I can't really argue with it because it does help to prevent against that Polywog harass from that jolt and stuff. So I wouldn't necessarily say it was not a good choice, but like you just don't usually see bottle first that much. You know what I mean?
I was actually going to mention that. Yeah, No-Tail, it's typical No-Tail fashion, though. He goes bottle on a lot, whether it's Tundra, whether it's Soul Stealer, whether it's Thunderbringer. He has shown that it's a preference of his. It's completely preference because, yes, you are right. We usually don't see bottle mid. In fact, a lot of people like to harp on a lot of public players on, oh my god, you went bottle first solo mid. What are you thinking? You're a noob. You're an idiot. And here is No-Tail. Like I talked about earlier, one of the best players in the world solo mid, and he does it. So, but of course, he is on a level of his own, and you see him already using it. He bottled up the double damage ring to start things off, like you said, and now he's taking advantage of it, throwing out some nukes and getting some regen. So, works out. He makes it work, and if it works for him, definitely cannot really argue against it too much or really even question it because it definitely has worked for him many, many times. Electrician and Bubbles going out of here in the bottom lane. You see Electrician is going to chase after Bubbles after shell surfing out of there, but as we were referring to, just Electrician, a very tough hero to go up against 1 versus 1 because of his harassment potential and because of survivability. In fact, going in right here, he misses the electric jolt right there, or the energy absorption, excuse me, but still, he scares off Bubbles enough to fall all the way back, get out of experience range, and now he's just going to continue cleaning up the creep wave. So definitely the bottom lane, so far you can argue being won by Trixie, 12-3 creep score compared to a 5-0 Tralfamador on Bubbles. And then at the middle lane, of course, that's Soul Stealer versus Polywog. We got Soul Stealer 12-6 against a 3-0 Polywog. Wow, Cardinal is definitely having a hard time. He was complaining about latency issues or spikes a little bit earlier, but nonetheless, still Soul Stealer 2-level advantage as well as that creep score advantage. That's not good news because, like you said from the very beginning, SK Gaming was going to need to make a pick to lock down Soul Stealer and match up well in the mid matchup, but so far it isn't working out as well as expected.
No, not at all. And he already is about to have a power supply, it looks like, and that's just to give him even more unharassability. Yeah, we'll make that a word. And it's just going to be really hard for Polywog to do anything. Soul Stealer is pretty much just going to take off in his farm in this lane. And honestly, it looks like Electrician is doing something similar in bottom lane, way ahead in creep score to this Bubbles. So MSI already dominating their 2 solo lanes, and honestly, if they win 2 solo lanes, it almost doesn't even matter if they don't do that great with this top counter tri-lane, as long as Sandwraith isn't just free farming the entire game.
Oh yeah, no, their makeup, that's the great thing about this MSI's makeup. I mean, their makeup is definitely, as it was last game, really, a really mid-game team. I mean, Soul Stealer is definitely that type of carry hero. He really takes over going into the middle game if he gets his good farm, good item farm, or whatever. It's being locked in a little bit here by Polywog Priest in the middle, followed by the Hex. So Polywog Priest playing very aggressive, but now falling back. Oh, he takes a nuke right there, but stays alive with about 50 life or so, just not enough for the kill. But Soul Stealer definitely showing that he is going to stand his ground. Polywog Priest has done a decent job of making a little bit of a comeback. Oh, but in the meantime, Electrician, Bloodlust kill on the Tralfamador, playing Bubbles, and as you see, unfortunately I did not catch the action, but he was pushed all the way up to the tower, and he nuked him down. He got the level, interesting by the way, he's got the level 3 energy absorption with the level 2 static grip. I say interesting because when we see Bryce play Electrician, especially in a case like this, he actually maxes out his electric shield ability and follows it up with energy absorption, only 1 level in static grip, so going a little bit different here is Trixie, but still, I set him up a kill right there. Job well done.
Yeah, definitely. That was really nice, and just pulling MSI farther ahead. Electrician looks to be definitely going for that tanky style build, picking up that Helm of the Black Legion very soon. Do you think maybe we'll see him go for some crazy, super expensive early item? Looks like we see Initiation on Glacius to the top, and Andromeda and Sandwraith doing a good job of taking him out. But Voodoo Jester also getting takeout, so pretty even trade there. Neither hero really matters, but Initiation on Andromeda, the Weed Field coming out, and Dampier and Myrmidon able to take her out as well. So Sandwraith the only one living, but really the only one who absolutely has to live. So that was probably the best thing that could have happened for SK if two of their heroes had to die in that.
There's a little bit of a ring coming out from your mic all of a sudden. I don't know if that's just me or if it
Let me see.
is on your side.
It still happening?
A little bit, yeah. It's kind of like a noise. Anyways, maybe just look into it real quickly. It's not that bad, but definitely worth looking into. But yeah,
I'll re-plug it in here.
Okay, yeah, so it's not just me. Yeah, try to replug it in, get that fixed real quickly. But quickly back to the game. Again, your point, though, definitely, of course, still stands. Of course, Sandwraith surviving. Obviously, that is the big deal for SK Gaming. As long as they can keep him alive, it is good news. But like you're also referring to earlier, with already the middle and the bottom lane pretty much being lost at this point. By the way, Andromeda looking to set up again. Kiona, Soul Stealer is going to be in a lot of trouble. Out goes the Morphlin. There's a tongue-tied, and he will tick down to damage. Cardinal gets credit for the kill. Andromeda, perfect time to roam right there, and a very big kill on a hero that they really, really needed to slow down in no tail playing that Soul Stealer. So great job by them right there as they take him out, and now within one hero kill of this game. However, Trixie in the meantime on Electrician, and actually you did ask me the question earlier, and we were kind of seeing it right here. He actually has already picked up his helmet of the Black Legion. He's already finished it, not even around 6 minutes in. That's just ridiculous. But, of course, getting the Bloodlust kill on the creep farm of 40-8 already. We'll make that happen, and he actually picks up his little red booties right there as well. But, yeah, I expect it to be the very tanky. Initiation here at the top lane. Magikarp's going to go on a Dampier, slowing him down a little bit, followed by the Wayfield. Andromeda dropping really fast, though, and Myrmidon will finish him off. And here we go on to Sandwraith now in the process, but he's just going to fall back. Of course, Sandwraith, this is a problem with the tri-lane with Sandwraith. He cannot output other than just stabbing with his dagger, he really just doesn't do enough to be involved. And we see right there, the Legion team once again playing aggressive. Look at this Electrician way beyond the tower. This is Electrician for you, especially if he gets an early farm like he has been. He's just playing, tic-tac-toe right here with Bubbles going back, and he's going to go onto the creep baby. He pulls it in. He's just allowing the creeps to tank down the tower, and he's just going to tank the damage of these creeps. He uses his energy absorption, of course, gets all the mana back. Oh, he may have he may have played with the devil a little bit too much right there. He's going to get caught by Polywog Priest. Bubbles a little bit of pathing issue, though. He was blocked by the creep wave. He ports in, however, Electrician, look at this. Out comes the static grip. Andromeda joins the fight, though. Will he have an energy absorption? No, he doesn't have enough mana for it, and he ends up going down. So Trixie living life on the edge, feeling ballsy. In the end, gets taken out, though.
Honestly, I think the damage has been done, though. So far ahead right now. Bubbles only level 6, while he's already level 8. It's just going to be really hard for Bubbles to make up for the lost ground. It looks like Boo Jester is going to go down up top. Legion coming around behind the tower to take him out. Just showing the power of Dampier and his ability to dive and dish out so much burst damage that you can do things like diving the tower and not really worry about initiating on Sandwraith now, but he's able to get. And with what you're saying, by the way, is my mic back?
Yeah, it actually is. I don't hear it anymore, so it's perfect.
Perfect. So yeah, what I was saying was, with Sandwraith, like you were saying earlier, Sandwraith just, that's the beauty of counter tri-laning against Sandwraith, is that Sandwraith basically has no presence in the tri-lane for a long time just because he can't really dish out the damage he needs. And it looks like we're going to get tower initiation, though, by the Hellborn. Polywog ult going down, and Bubbles getting out. Soul Stealer going to go down as well to the Polywog ult, and the tower denied. So SK coming out way on top in that.
How about that coordination right there in the top lane? In the meantime, Andromeda is dropping a little bit low, but the Mojo comes out right away, and he is going to survive. But wow, between Cardinal and Tralfamador, I mean, Cardinal took care of locking down Soulstone, and actually Tralfamador fell back, avoiding damage, and then ended up denying the tower. And then Cardinal on his Polywog Priest ended up locking him down long enough to get the kill with his ward. So that was a very good execution right there by the two of them. Of course, they got the kill on Glacius just before as well. Polywog Priest now headed towards the top lane. A port coming in. We're going to see a little bit of action up here. 5 players from the Hellborn side up here. The stun on the Mirror Acid Cocktail bouncing back and forth. Bubbles jumps in. We're going to see a hat trick for the team of SK Gaming. They take out all 3 heroes. Electrician ported in really as soon as I started as well. Soldier there. He comes in trying to finish out Bubbles. Not going to be enough though. He is locked down. Electrician though joins that party. His static grip onto Andromeda. And no doubt Andromeda will go down. But SK Gaming, I think they're going to cut their losses and get out of there. Or not necessarily cut their losses because they definitely won that fight. But they want to stay that way as they are running away now. Electrician Electrician wants to chase, but I just don't think he's going to be able to get close enough. And even if he did, well, might be able to get Voodoo Jester, actually. He set a grip. There we go. Followed by the energy absorption. Will it be enough? Yes, it will. He picks off Voodoo Jester. A 5-level advantage will do that. He's going to take the stun right there, and now he's going to purge himself to run away, and he will be successful. In the meantime, while that is going on, Dampier dives onto Sandwraith in the jungle. Soul Stealer also up here. However, does not want to tank that tower, so he's going to end up falling back, and Sandwraith will more than likely actually stay alive throughout all this, but MSI there keeping the pressure up. They lock down. Who was that? Andromeda right there. Cut him off. Padawan Priest jumps in. He has a lockdown on the Dampier, and the wards will be enough to help him get taken out. Myrmidon tries to help his teammate. Just under that, but this action sequence does not end. Bubbles gets caught by the static grip from Electrician. Down he goes. Padawan Priest smells revenge, but he's not going to be able to close enough. And of course, the Desert Scripts from Sandwraith will only do so much. But Padawan Priest, he gets caught. Oh, he pushed out way too far. And actually, Sandwraith taking some nuke damage now. He is very tanky though. He has that helmet of the Black Legion. He should be fine. Acid Cocktail also coming out. And I think the fight might finally be over. Yes, it looks like it, unless Soul Stealer gets caught by Andromeda here, but I think he's going to be fine. Wow, what a sequence.
19 kills. Wait, he did get caught. He is going to get caught.
Oh, wow.
I can't believe Andromeda didn't stun there. I'm worried about other heroes.
That was crazy.
19 kills in the first 11 minutes of the game is ridiculous.
Oh, yeah, this is a completely different pace of a game than it was last time. I mean, last time it was, surprisingly, honestly, really very slow in terms of kills. I mean, Bloodless Kill took like 6 minutes or something. In this game, like you said, 19 kills and just over the 11.5-minute mark. As I like to say, as long as you have over a kill per minute, you're doing just fine in terms of entertainment and action. And we're easily getting that. We do see some counter warning going on from Glacius. That's always a good support players will do. Very smart use of that counter ward. Soul Stealer as which tower? Oh yeah, the top tower got it denied right there. Swamp actually on a Dampier, trying to lock him down with the stun. There's a Morphling as well. Electric Jolt coming out, not nearly enough damage, but at least keeping the pressure off. However, Voodoo Jester with the Acid Cocktail bouncing back and forth. Sandwraith also thinking about porting him up. Myrmidon is also here, trying to keep his teammate alive, and Dampier stays alive long enough to take out an illusion actually. So Dampier actually does go down. Myrmidon activates the ultimate, and now he's going to take the creep away. Wavefield comes out. He's just trying to survive at this point, maybe do a little bit of damage. He throws out the magic card, but oh, the Comet stun stuns him. Electric Jolt though from, no, excuse me, not the Electric Jolt, but whatever it's called, the Purge Cleansing Shock from Electrician. Just not enough though. And then Myrmidon still goes down, so the action continues. This top lane is a freaking battlefield up here. Whew. So, I mean,
this is ridiculous.
The thing is, obviously, Fnatic MSI, they have a huge advantage right now and then so many levels, but Sandwraith is actually not managing a horrible farm. He hasn't died yet. He's been involved in 5 kills with those 5 assists. He also got a hero kill himself. He's had his helmet of the Black Legion. He now has his red boots. I mean, and he's farming 258 gold per minute. So, despite what looks like to be a pretty bad game for SK Gaming in that sense, I mean, when you look at that, they aren't doing too bad. And then there's Cardinal, 5, 1, and 4 hero kill stats has resulted or helped result in a 278 gold per minute farm. So he is also doing his thing, trying to make the best of it. However, you do look at the opposite side of the spectrum, and you got both Electrician and Soul Stealer doing a crazy farm themselves. In fact, Portkey already finished on Soul Stealer. Going to try to help right here in the middle lane. Dampier initiates using this fear right there, but then it falls back immediately. Or terrorized, I should say. And it's realizing that he wasn't going to get the follow-up from his team. So they're going to fall back and regroup, it looks like. But Electrician, he's going to try to lead the way. Has his Ghost Marchers. Oh, Bubble's getting caught out right here. Takes one Demon Hand. There's the all the way foot, and the Static Grip catches him as soon as he comes out of the take cover, and he explodes into thin air. So MSI tying it up at 12 hero kills apiece, and now here they go doing a middle tower push.
Yep, and this is just ridiculous. Honestly, MSI had such a huge advantage at the beginning with those at the very beginning that I didn't think SK was gonna really have a chance till way later, but they really turned it around. And although MSI is ahead in gold and experience, I still think SK really did what they needed to get back ahead, making the heroes move away from their solo lanes and move up top and keep this like team fight dynamic going, where the single hero advantages didn't matter as much, and Soul Stealer couldn't just win his lane, and the Electrician couldn't just win his lane, because they both had the team support to deal with each other.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just been, as expected, really. It's just been great play once again from Fnatic MSI. Oh, Andromeda, wrong place, wrong time type deal. He gets cut off by Electrician, and they easily follow up onto him. Bubble zone off the kelp field, but just not nearly in time to save anything. The defensive tower gonna drop right here. This will be the 4th tower kill of the game already for Fnatic MSI, just over the 15-minute mark. Oh man, this is it. Wow. It really is looking ugly now for SK Gaming. Again, you try to keep positive though. Try to keep hope. Sandwraith, he is managing a somewhat decent farm, and there is Polywog Priest who is he's working towards the staff of the master. But oh, he's in a dangerous spot right here, as if he gets spotted, he will pretty much be screwed. Yeah, wow. But they just all run right by him, and they don't care about him anyways. They just want this tower kill. They're going to go for it. Polywog Priest, though, now he's in a good flank spot right here. However, the Legion team, they fall back, and they're not too concerned about really pushing at this point, obviously. They're just going to play calm, play the game how it's been going. They control the pace of the game, no doubt, and might as well just sit back and continue more farm.
Absolutely. And honestly, even if this goes really late and Sandwraith gets that farm that the hero needs to get really strong, Legion still has Electrician and Soulstealer, and although neither of those heroes are as hard to carry as Sandwraith, I feel like they could still beat a farm Sandwraith as long as they had decent farm as well. So I'm not really sure if SK even has that big of an advantage late game with that Sandwraith pick.
Yeah, I mean, we have seen many times him being the takeover hero, but you are right. I mean, you look at the Legion side, both Soulstealer and Electrician definitely have somewhat of a late-game presence, and especially Electrician, I mean, very underrated in my opinion, and the rare times we do see him,
agreed,
it doesn't seem like we ever really get to see him in the late game, but honestly, if you get into the late game, if he gets very tanky, gets, Mocker Brilliance, whatever, he can be very powerful. Freshpro actually gets caught out in the middle lane here, as we do see have the tower push coming, so Polywog Priest using those wards, pushing the tower. However, it's a give and take because they did lose a bottom tower, the secondary bottom tower in the process, so whether or not that was worth it, definitely up for debate. But in the end, the Legion team gets this one step closer to actually getting into the base, whereas the Hellborn side, they just finally got their first tower kill of the game, 17 or so minutes in. So it is unfortunate for them in that sense, but at least they did get the tower kill, as well as a nice little pick.
Throwing down these counter wards. MSI doing a really good job of counter warding this game, actually. Usually we don't really see that much, watch the counter warding that closely, but I've been watching Glacius, and he's done a lot of counter warding this game, and it's really, I think, one of the things that's keeping them so far ahead, because a lot of people don't realize how really important wards are in counter warding, because it's kind of a behind-the-scenes action, but just the fact that heroes are counter warding constantly really gives your team an advantage, especially a team like MSI's that has such good potential to just initiate on a single hero and take him out so fast.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Do me a favor real quickly. Maybe take the mic away a little bit from your face. I think you have it a little bit too close because it's starting to get a little bit more muffled than it was before.
That better?
Yeah, it sounds a little bit better, yeah.
All right, cool, yeah. It was slowly approaching being inside my mouth, so.
when it gets crazy, things happen. But yeah, so good point right there. So the SK Gaming, definitely a very tough spot. It actually has slowed down a little bit. I mean, there was really that one crazy sequence at the top lane. It seemed like went on for a couple of minutes where 20 kills happened. But right now it has slowed down a little bit. We're now tied at 13 hero kills apiece at the 18.5-minute mark. Of course, Kongor is up. Don't expect to see anyone attempt him very soon, but definitely something to keep in mind, of course, for the near future.
Another thing to note that's really interesting is that even though the kills are tied, MSI is up by 5,000 experience and almost 9,000 gold, and that's not a small margin this early in the game. I'm not really sure exactly how. They had an advantage early game, but that's a pretty big lead for being tied on hero kill. I mean, most of that's due to all these towers they've killed, honestly, the gold advantage, but also the experience advantage makes a big difference as well.
Oh yeah, and a perfect example of how that gold is taking advantage for them. The Shrunken Head just finished on Soulstealer, so now he's got that all-powerful, right there, the all-powerful portal key Shrunken Head. Yeah, in under 20 minutes, exactly. I mean, obviously, 457 gold per minute, so typical no-tail fashion, as I know I use that term a lot, but it really is. He's just doing his thing. Solo's mid, does a fantastic job in it, and now he's starting to slowly but surely take over the game. And as I said earlier, this is a really great mid-game team with heroes like Soulstealer, Dampier, Electrician, Glacius, Fresh Pro, doing his typical thing of spamming his skill like he always does. Electrician, by the way, it looks like he's working, I'm guessing, on he could finish the Sustainer, so a Null Stone at this point, which obviously is definitely a very powerful item on him. And in a game like this, it prevents against especially Polywog Priest, which I would think is the main focus. But then you even got the swap, the stun from Andromeda. There are many things, and even the Sandwraith ultimate. So, but yeah, so an effective pick for many reasons. And sure enough, they push yet another tower. That is the last tower, actually, the last secondary tower. Right now, it's all base towers
20
left.
Minutes in. It's just ridiculous that they pushed 6 towers in 20 minutes. Like, you wouldn't really see this team to be that strong of a pushing team, but MSI is really playing it as a really strong pushing team, and they're really taking advantage of their being ahead of the other team and just keep continuing their lead. And all their heroes initiate in, supposed to actually blinking in with the ult, and that just melts all of the Hellborn heroes. Almost 3 heroes going down almost instantly, and now the only heroes left are Sandwraith in the main fight, and he is going to get taken out too by that Glacius ult. Sandwraith does.
Wow.
And it looks like, actually, Soulstealer chased whoever it was, who was over there, Andromeda down on the right side of the map and took him out as well. So, getting the Genocide, and this could even be a good game here. They're probably going to get a Rax. I wouldn't be surprised if they get a Rax. It'll be close, though.
Wow, I mean, that all started with Dampier. He got a great initiation with that portal key. He jumped on, I believe it was 3 or 4 heroes. He used that Terrorize, so it feared them for a second or so. And that set up, obviously, the Soul Stealer and the Electrician to follow it up, throw out their damage abilities through AoE status. And, yeah, the Hellborn team just got melted right there. So showing that this Legion side can definitely have some good teamwork as well as individual pick-off potential. SK Gaming, they do manage to save the tower, surprisingly enough. So despite getting genocided right there, somehow managed to save the tower. As Legion players, several of them were fairly low, so that I'm sure had something to do with it. But of course, fight easily, no doubt, won by Fnatic MSI. And I'm with you. I mean, as much as I hate to say it, because obviously you always want entertaining games, perhaps, a longer series. But in this, it really is looking very, very good for Fnatic MSI. And they're in the driver's seat right now to take this game, and of course with the victory here, they will be the GosuGamers World Cup champions. But it is not over till the concede happens or the shrine goes down, so obviously let's not get ahead of ourselves. And I have seen crazier things happen. I really have. And Sandwraith, he is just one of those heroes that no matter how a game is going, all of a sudden he ports in and just annihilates everyone. And all of a sudden it's a genocide for SK Game, and you're like, WTF? Polywog Priest, though, he's going to get caught out right here, and that's unfortunate because at this point in the game especially, the picks like that are just going to feed the Legion team, get them even bigger, and not help you whatsoever, obviously. So they're sitting in the Congo pit now, and they are going to go for a quick Congo kill. Definitely have a good amount of damage to do so. Hellborn team too occupied defending their base at this point. I don't think they're even going to react to this.
Yeah, they don't really have the team fighting ability to react at this point. Like, Hellborn's team is ridiculously turtley, and not just because it has bubbles on it, but they need that Sandwraith to get as much farm as he can, and even then, that's really their only chance to win this game. So I think that's what they're focusing on right now, and they're doing a good job of it, honestly. Like, they're staying back, they're not really dying except for that Polywog pickup, and Sandwraith is just fun, and that's really all they can do. So I don't know. I hate to be so negative, but like it's just a huge deficit for SK right now.
Well, yeah, it is. It's we're like that because of what is on the line and how for it to end like this. Like, really, this is how it's going to end. But in a way,
BTG.
Well, in a way, that's the thing. MSI, for how dominating they have been lately, in a way, it makes sense that it very likely could end like this because MSI. It'll just prove yet again that they are perhaps on a different level than any other team in the competitive scene right now. The tower does go down, however, so again, we'll kind of stay away from that for now until it officially is over. to try to keep hope here for SK Gaming and their fans, of course, and the U.S. But the defensive tower goes down, so now they have to defend the racks at the best that they can. Currently, Sandwraith occupying the bottom lane, of course, with his ultimate, though, can be involved in a team fight just like that, so not too worried about farming while this is going on. We see Electrician leading the way. There goes some port-ins, and they catch Voodoo Jester. Easy kill onto him. You see another nuke, not enough for a kill, but Sandwraith activating his ultimate right there. He's going to port in near them, but not on top of them, and he runs away immediately, so the range drags actually starting to go down first. Finally, they turn their attention to the melee, but Dampier jumps in with this terrorize and drops Andromeda just like that. Bubble stood absolutely no chance. You see Polywog Priest just running around in circles. He knows that this is all or nothing right here. He goes down, however, after getting the wards off. Sandwraith, what can he do? He's got a sword of the high. He's working on his Mock of Brilliance, but there's a GG called, in fact, and I'm sure just morale is just not happening. Is not in favor for them. I know that we might concede right away. It very likely with that is going to be the end. Soulstealer will go down here, but of course will resurrect right back up with the token of life. Electrician also pushing out in front. So the tower is completely cleared out. We see a lot of water revs. I don't know if that was on purpose.
Yeah, I was about to say it's Nova. I'm pretty sure he's just being
just having fun.
Faced.
Or that. Very true.
We do see Dampier getting taken out, though, by the swap. And, I mean, that was a nice little play there, but it doesn't really matter, honestly. MSI is backing up, so SK is going to have a chance to regroup. And Sandwraith just continuing farming. Testy is doing a good job of keeping on that farm, but he needs to out-farm a 20,000 gold deficit, and that's not an easy thing to do.
Yeah, I mean... So Sandwraith, he will have a Mock of Brilliance in about, in the next couple of creep waves. So in the next minute or so, he's going to have a Mock of Brilliance. That on top of the Helm of the Black Legion, I don't know. He's going to press that R button. It's going to be a decent amount of damage coming out. It is good, but we are talking about heroes like Electrician, who's definitely not going to be dying too quickly to that, obviously, with his abilities and with the items that he has. By the way, he now picks up a Spell Shard. It's level 1 with that. It's actually, he initiates on the Andromeda right here just to really have fun with him and kind of mess around. But yeah, it's great and all. I mean, Angry Testy is doing his thing. He's doing what he does best for SK Gaming, trying to carry for his team in just a very dire situation. But as much hope as you like to have, it's just the Legion side, like you went back to, 22,000 in gold advantage for their team as a whole. That's just such an overwhelming deficit at 27 minutes into the game. Electrician is actually going to run into Sandwraith right here. This could get interesting. He's going to try to get out with the Desert Curse, and Electrician, he actually doesn't even bother static gripping. He just says, screw it, I'm going to let you get away. So there we go. Mock of Brilliance finished on Sandwraith. Who knows? I mean, it's next team fight, we'll let us know.
Yeah, but two heroes on MSI actually over 500 gold per minute, and that's something you don't really see that often in any Han game. Like, that's ridiculous.
Even more importantly, Codex on Soulstealer, as Cardinal just pointed out.
Wow. So, spell shards, too, to buff that Codex damage.
Yeah, that's kind of an in-your-face type pickup right there. That's kind of we're making a statement pickup. So this is
yeah, that's like, will we see a courier train is the question.
Well, here we go.
See,
this is it. This is the fight to determine really if SK has any hope. We see Electrician coming in right here, just really playing overly aggressive. You see the Nullstone being activated from the Comet stun. So now when Sandwraith presses that R button, just pay attention to the Legion player lives and see how fast they actually do drop. Of course, he's going to need help, and that's a matter. But Electrician just stuns right in. There we go. He initiates onto Andromeda. The Wayfield to follow it up, and Andromeda easily nuked down. But there we go with the Sandwraith ultimate, however, using it. We see Dampier, for some reason, was way out of it, or he actually got trapped by Polywog Priest. Sandwraith is chasing, doing a good amount of damage right here. He takes a freeze, actually. Glacia's going to go down, and Myrmidon goes down as well. So already 3 players dead. Soulstealer in the middle of the base. What is he doing all the way out? He's going to try to get the ultimate off. He finally does, but Sandwraith just stabs stabs him down. Electrician is the only survivor. He's going to put the static grip on Polywog Priest. He gets him taken out, but Sandwraith is in pursuit, but the Electrician, he is very, very tanky. It's a battle of the tanky heroes, and it looks like Electrician is done with fighting there. He's going to try to escape now. Bubbles ports in, using the take cover. There we go with the static grip power on Sandwraith. Sandwraith's going to take a little bit of a nuke right here. No, maybe not. Actually getting locked down very long, though, but Trixie dropping fast. Oh, Sandwraith goes down using the mana shield. Bubbles wants to finish him. He will kill him in the end, so wow, he ends up killing him. Trixie, though, buys back immediately. But yeah, that was obviously MSI. They're having fun with the situation. They really overextended right there. It's tough though, because you are in a game where you may just want to think about actually just finishing this game and becoming the champions rather than drawing it out, because like I said, anything can happen, so you never know.
This is SK did come out on top there. Obviously, they reduced the gold deficit by 2,000. This is just ridiculous. And yeah, MSI played overly aggressive on purpose. As you can see, Electrician running straight to MSI base, and SK's base and running around in there. But I feel like MSI still has more than enough advantage to take it. But SK did show that they do have some potential to win team fights still. Not to say that they could win a team fight that wasn't in their base with towers shooting all the enemy heroes and MSI being super aggressive, but I mean, it gives you a little hope that SK maybe could still pull this out.
And that it does. We see Electrician right there actually getting a stunt canceled on Andromeda by one another, so they fall back. But MSI, they are regrouping here at the top lane once again. At least heading up there, so they're making its way up there as well, as still just sitting on the level 1 Codex. And the level 2 spell shards. No one really has too much gold saved up, though. Shards. Who did?
Dampier, he's got level 2 spell shard.
Oh, nice, yeah.
Everyone throwing down the spell shards.
Yeah, it is a powerful item. I think a smart item for
There's not much to
implement. There really isn't. I mean,
just wait for them to.
Yeah, it's just we're kind of just waiting for the inevitable at this point. Here we go. MSI, they're grouping up finally with the creep wave. Hellborn team, they're at their base. They're ready to defend here. Sandwraith he's all the way at the bottom, but again he presses R, and he'll be there to join the team fight. So now does SK look to initiate with bubbles maybe, or do they let them get the tower? Who knows? Electrician is gonna. See, unlike last time, he's actually staying at the tower. Thought about charging up in front, but there we go. Bubbles initiates with his ultimate, only catching Myrmidon, however. Dampier running in the, the Soul Stealer ultimate right on top of Bubbles. He got melted right there. We see the Codex being used on Polywog Priest after getting the kill on a Voodoo Jester. However, Sandwraith here, he comes finally, porting in, looking to damage Soul Stealer. Soul Stealer, though, barely staying alive. They take out Polywog Priest. Soul Stealer, Sandwraith, the only one to survive. He actually gets the kill on the Soul Stealer, and we'll get the kill on the Glacius as well, but who cares? He goes down. That's a genocide. Buying back a Sandwraith, though, so he does not want this to be over. Angry Testy putting every single little last ounce of his effort into this game. They want to stay in it, but it just isn't going to be so. He gets locked down. Can he make it back to the well? The purge is put on him. He's just in range, though, so he will be able to stay alive. The tower is still alive. Holy crap. Kill the tower, guys. There we go. They finally kill the tower. So it shows you how occupied they keep on being with the heroes. So the Hellborn team, well, they're trying to defend the racks at this point, but there we go, initiation on a Voodoo Jester, catching him, and he's going to get nuked down. Sandwraith putting in some stab damage, but not going to be enough for a kill right there. And Electrician, the swamp though on Electrician gets brought right back into it. He's starting to take a lot of damage. Dampier jumps in though with the Terrorize, trying to save his teammate. Sandwraith in pursuit, however, the comma's done. There's the Electric Jolt, and down goes Electrician, so in the end they clean up a little bit. And Dampier now, he's going to get caught right here. There's the Bubbles ultimate, and indeed he goes down. So once again, we see SK somehow barely stay alive.
I can't believe neither of the racks, the melee racks took like 30 damage. And yeah. I don't know if this is a good idea by MSI. I mean, they are really far ahead, but still. You do just kind of want to end it, especially against the Sandwraith. I mean, no matter how farmed I am, you can never be that confident against the Sandwraith.
Well, at the same token, too, again, because, Solstier, he's had a crazy farm, but he's also spent a little bit of that gold both on spell shards and codex, which obviously in a serious game, you would never see that, but because they were so confident, they had such an advantage, I figured, why not do it, but this game is, as much as it should be over, perhaps, it's definitely SK Gaming hanging by a thread, and Sandwraith, he's got now Beast Heart to go with the Mystic Vestments he picked up as well, so he could be working towards a Behemoth Heart in this case, I don't know, but with that Beast Heart right there, he still has a little bit of ways to go before that, unfortunately, so if MSI they push right now once again, would screw him in that sense, but for right now, apparently we're back in the farming phase. What could have been a done game, we're back into sitting back and farming once again.
Kongor is up, one thing to note, so we could see a Kongor attempt by MSI. I mean, that would be a good idea, honestly, since SK can't really do anything about it since they have to defend 2 lanes now.
Yeah,
I see pings coming up.
Yeah, I don't. Although they definitely know that there will be difficult though. But with Sandwraith, that's the other thing. Oh, Voodoo Chester just got melted right there. That's my. There we go. Sorry about that. There we go. Got melted right there, got picked off, but yeah, so a lot of pings going out. You see the Conqueror going to start dropping right here. So they're not assisting them though. He's kind of hanging off to the side, waiting scouting around, seeing if anyone's thinking about ninjing it. But again, with the Sandwraith, you press R, you're all of a sudden on Conqueror, and you can try to ninja it. So we'll see if he attempts to do that. For right now, though, the Hellborn team, they all fall back, and they're not really interested whatsoever. So yeah, that easily goes down with the Conqueror, and Token of Life is picked up by Electrician. So he's very nasty target now.
Yeah, that's like doubles his taking ability, which makes it ridiculous since he's been the last hero alive every fight where MSI heroes have died, and so now he's going to be alive twice as long, pretty much.
Well, they once again move all the way towards the top lane. So they're grooving up here. This is, I believe, the 3rd try now. They're going to try to not only clean up the Hellborn team, but actually take out the Rax this time. Let's see how much focus they put on them. So we have Voodoo Jester hanging off into the jungle. Of course, Polywog and Bubbles setting themselves up. We see Polywog finishing a Staff of the Master, so that should be good for helping them turtle here. Put that down when it becomes a little bit chaotic. Legion team out in front of the tower. The Rax already down to below half life currently. Sandwraith, again, he is pushing the bottom lane, but he just uses his ultimate, and he's here. In fact, he uses his ultimate right there. Here we go. Bubbles initiates, jumps right on top of them. Shrugging going to be activated by Solstier there. He's trying to get in a good spot. He gets off the ultimate right there. Polywog is trying to run away, and one more hit will get him killed. In fact, there we go. In the meantime, though, one player in Glacius being taken out, so pretty even 1-for-1 exchange right there. Solstier there and Sandwraith going at it 1 versus 1. Solstier realizes this is probably not a fight for him to win, but with Dampier's assistance, he will win it. And down goes Sandwraith right there. Of course, he'll buy back right away. However, once again, Electrician still in the midst of that. He still has a token of life, remember. So this is still a huge advantage in this fight for Fnatic MSI. But they are not focused on the Rax. Once again, they get occupied with the heroes. But the melee Rax did actually go down. Sandwraith is now chasing once again, getting stunned, however. Now turning his attention to Electrician, who is actually out of mana. So loses a lot of his tanky factor, of course, not being able to use Electric Shield. Going to purge himself, though. Speed himself up. And it looks like he's going to be able to run away. So MSI, at least they got the melee Rax. And I guess they killed Sandwraith to make him buy back once. But yet again, they really can't do much else. As SK Gaming, again, hanging in there, living life on the edge. Sandwraith's going to run into Electrician right here. But Electrician isn't going to do too much, kind of playing a little bit of tag. And that's going to be it.
Yep. I don't know. MSI did get that Rax, and I mean that's good enough, I think, for them. But yeah, they just need to keep the pressure on. Honestly, they do have a huge advantage, but there's no reason not to keep the pressure on. Like, letting SK farm is just a bad idea, regardless of your advantage. You never want to just let the other team turtle up when you're at such a huge lead. I mean, you have to consider, like, oh, maybe they'd be over-aggressive and get genocide, but at this point, they're not going to have it happen. Sandwraith getting caught out, and Myrmidon and Electrician coming over, and there's the swap by Andromeda to save Sandwraith. Wow, that was a really smart, well-played move.
Yeah, that just definitely saved Angry Tessie right there, and that's Andromeda for you. Ooh, it might get, no, he avoids the wave field, actually. He's going to also take the Magic Carp damage. Bubbles up ports in the lockdown on the Electrician, and the Hellborn team might be able to turn this fight around a little bit right here. Electrician taking a lot of damage. Of course, again, he still has a token alive, but he is dropping very, very low. Now the chase is on a Myrmidon as well, who's fairly tanky himself, surprisingly or not. The Electric throwing the bubbles, no, not going to follow it up, just going to try to use it to help run away, and looks like they are going to end up getting away. The bottom tower is being pushed in the meantime by the creep wave, as we can see right here. So Hellborn team regrouping, regenerating, and of course Sandwraith going to go right down there and yet again pick up his farm. Now it's 2,000 gold saved up, so I think at this point he is trying to save up for a Behemoth Art. He just keeps having to spend the money, of course, on buybacks.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a good idea to not have the money to buy back, though, because honestly his buybacks are what saved them these two times. Yeah. And I use saved lightly because they still lost the melee racks, but...
Well, we'll see. We're now 40 minutes into this game, surprisingly not. I
thought it was like 20 minutes in still.
Yeah, it's it's kind of funny because around the 20-minute mark, we already were saying MSI looks like they're going to be victorious, but here we are, 20 minutes later, and that still isn't the case. SK Gaming has turtled up enough to prevent it from overwhelming them. You see Sandwraith back to the bottom lane, pushing it back out. Here we go with the Legion team, though. At least Electrician, Dampier, and Glacius, they're up here. They're going to try to finish off the ranged racks. Everyone else of the Hellborn team is here, however, of course, playing defense like they need to be. But again, Sandwraith, he's just farming. He's just pushing in this bottom lane. He now has 2,800 plus gold saved up. We got Soulstealer pushing the middle lane, and yet again headed back towards the top. So all five are here yet again for Fnatic MSI. We see the range drag starting to take a little bit of damage. And now again, when will Sandwraith look to port in? This range drag, so absolutely gets annihilated. No chance of defending it. Easy takeout for them. Fruity Jester hiding in the little trees right here. Actually, Electrician runs right by him. Guess didn't even see him. So he's going to be fine. Angry Tessie now is 3,200 gold plus, so now we'll see if he is actually saving up for something specifically, or if he's just really farming for buyback purposes. But of course, the Legion team...
He did open up one of his... So he might be purchasing an axe of the Malfire or whatever.
Yeah, it's very likely, because 3,200 needed for that. So, but for now, he's actually now in the jungle. As you did see, Glacius came down here, but Glacius by himself cannot do too much, and Sandwraith knows that. So he tried to maybe snipe him right there, but miscalculated, and in the end, he's just falling back and going to start roaming around. So the Legion team, they're not making a full-out effort yet. Of course, they want the creep wave with them, so cleaning up that bottom lane, that's what Glacius was doing with the ultimate. And now the lane is starting to get pushed up a little bit, so once they have the creep wave here, of course, they will look to actually enter into the base, destroy the racks, and pick up the mega creeps, which we have never, ever seen a game come back from that, so... That would definitely have to signify a victory for Fnatic MSI, but we will see. Electrician goes out in front of Electric on a Polywalk Priest. Can they take him out before? Yes, they can. They drop him just like that. The ultimate is used by Sandwraith. When will he port in is a question. You see Bubbles also in there. Soulstealer ultimate actually going off. Sandwraith, is he even here? I don't even know if I see Sandwraith. He actually did not even port in. He took out Glacius in the process, who was way over in the middle. But now the tower is going to start dropping. Sandwraith finally runs into this. He's focus firing on that Myrmidon right there. He wants to take out him. He actually has a haste rune, so that's why he's running so fast. Polywalk Priest buys back. There we go. He gets the ultimate off. Lockdown on a Soulstealer. Soulstealer will be going down, and the job is done by SK Gaming yet again. This time they saved the racks. Sandwraith stayed alive, and he is not finished. He's chasing Myrmidon. Waveform going to be used. Tablet command as well, and Myrmidon pushing himself into the Conqueror pit. Of course, Sandwraith can chase right after him.
Trouble in bottom.
But it's not going to matter. And yes, Electrician is caught out right here. You see the curse is on him, so it's going to take him down quite fast. He's going to try to tank as much as possible. Does he have the, yes, he still has a token alive, so he's going to resurrect. But now this is interesting. If they catch him again, that would be huge. A huge kill for them. But Trixie is just very, very tanky. Going to be difficult. We do see Dampier actually coming over to assist him as well. And in fact, Sandwraith is the one that may be in a little bit of trouble now. He's going to need to play the juke game. And it looks like for now he will be successful with it as he hides into the trees. Electrician was chasing. Yeah, go ahead.
Polywog did not actually die in that last fight. I'm not really sure how. I think he might have gotten swapped out, but he never actually died.
It probably was a swap then. Yeah, I just thought he just melted, but you're right. It probably was swap.
No, because I thought he had like 90 health, but it looks like Sandwraith might be in trouble here. Bubbles coming from behind to save him. And they are going to take out Dampier, it looks like. He's getting really low and using that fear, and he does get taken. And the Electrician could be in trouble here too, going in on the Polywog, but on the Bubbles, but there are a lot of Hellborn heroes here, and the Electrician does get taken out.
God, Sandwraith has 5,000 gold saved up right now. Electrician did buy back, of course, as expected. Glacius, so one hit outside. It doesn't even matter. The Mocker Brilliance actually takes him down. The swap on a Myrmidon. They're going to clean up on Myrmidon right here. And, God, SK Gaming, they are still in this. Are you kidding me? We see Axe of the Malphite is picked up on Sandwraith, so he's going to look to try to finish that Behemoth's heart. Oh man, MSI, what are you doing, guys? You had every opportunity to finish this game and become the champions, but because you're mishaps, because you're feeling very cocky and confident, SK Gaming is making somewhat of a comeback here. And until the object of the game is to destroy the sacrificial shrine, and right now SK Gaming is somehow managing to protect that, and Sandwraith finishes his Behemoth's heart. He has another 1,500 gold saved up. I mean, he is very scary now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But the sad thing is as much as SK's resilience is being shown here, they have 2 tower kills for their team. And I mean, even with a genocide on the Legion team, they're not going to be able to get more than 1 lane's tower or so. So they're going to just need to genocide over and over and over, and then do slight counter pushes if they want to try and win. I mean, there's a lot more hope now, absolutely, and it's looking much better for them, but still, it's such a long road.
Yeah, it just is funny because this is, if there was an award for like a game that went on a lot longer than it really should have, this would definitely be, if not one of the top, if not the top, because MSI, they did have this game in the bag. They should have already won this game, but because of sloppy play on their part,
the first 8 minutes of the game.
Yeah, it's ridiculous how SK Gaming is still managing to be in this game. But you got to give them credit. You got to give them credit for persevering and not giving up. Sure, they did technically. Cardinal did say GG earlier, but that isn't the official way to concede in Han. Of course, the concede vote is, so just because he said GG doesn't mean that it was over. We do see the Legion. No, those are illusions. Okay, so panic there a little bit, but those are just Celestial illusions. Just harassing a little bit.
Congo are going to get taken out, it looks.
Yeah, they are going to go for a Ninja Conqueror here. That will be Bananas this time, I believe. Unless Bubbles. Oh, he shelled him. Here we go, Sandwraith. He's going to pour it in. He does pour it in. And he got the Bananas at least, so he took one of them. And here we go. Team fight happening. Lockdown onto Electrician. Sandwraith going to try to take out Myrmidon. Sandwraith is dropping fairly fast, so he needs to use the Bananas. There we go, using the Bananas. Electrician is dropping, and Electrician will go down, so the Token of Life already used. Soul Stealer dropping fast. Will they get him killed as well? Yes, they will. Bubbles helps kill him. Soul Stealer goes down. I don't think he actually does buy back right away, so he's barely had enough money. The chase is still on. Myrmidon goes down. Electrician is just running for his life at this point. Dampier does pick off Polywog Priest in the meantime, but here we go. Bubbles ports on to Dampier now, using the takeover right there. Static grip on the Sandwraith dropping really fast. A lot of dispersion damage going out though, and it's going to be enough to kill Dampier, but Sandwraith in the end will go down. He can buy back though, I believe. He does have, yes, he just buys back immediately, in fact, as you have to in a game like this. So Sandwraith buys back right away, and wow, so that Conga pretty much canceled out right there. Neither the Token of Life or Bananas are up anymore. What a timing right there for Sandwraith ninjing. I mean, I'm sure he would have preferred the Token of Life, but hey, at least he got one of them and was able to use them effectively. And again, SK Gaming living life on the edge. They're barely staying alive. But like you said, we're in a game now of buybacks, and when you only have 2 tower kills, it's very, very, very difficult to make anything of it. They are going to try to chase Dampier, though, here at the top lane. He's going to try to make his escape, but the Kelfield comes out, ensuring his death. And down he goes, Angry Testy, yet another hero kill.
one thing to say, Soulstealer, regardless of the fact that SK is kind of coming back, just chose to upgrade his codex. Now level 5 codex picked up. So not really doing anything like going into panic mode at all. Not even going for real core items. And honestly, Soulstealer kind of tapers off as you get to the very, very late game. And by going for those items, he's going to taper off way earlier. And honestly, that gives SK the chance to match the carrying potential of just Electrician alone.
Yeah, it obviously does. There just isn't much more to say about this game. There really isn't.
I just wanted to... I don't know, yeah.
I just want team fights to keep happening, because when we go into stages like this where it's just both teams, again, just back into farming, it's like, what do you talk about? I mean, we've already talked about everything we possibly can throughout this game, and that's in terms of what needs to happen. I mean, it's obvious. SK, they just need to keep on somehow managing to hold off. Ooh, is he going to port? Yes, he does port somewhere. Where does Sandwich port? Oh, he ports down here. He wants to try to drop Soulstealer. Soulstealer, though, he activates the Shrunken Head and ports out before he goes down. That was really close. That would have been another huge pickoff. And, in fact, Noto would not have been able to buy back either. He only has 1,600 gold, so that would have been huge. And speaking of him, by the way, so... level 1 codex, fine, whatever. You were having fun, you're being cocky, whatever. He upgraded it, though, to level 5. So he's invested a lot of gold into that codex. And that's just another thing where you kind of look back at this game and kind of scratch your head. Having fun, it is a game. I understand that. But there's $10,000 on the line. I mean, you have a chance to seal the game. There are people out there that would argue it's best to just finish the game rather than, do what they're doing. But, hey, they're having fun with it. And as a result, at least, we've actually had what is turning out to be quite the epic Game 3 here as Samwraith ports back to base.
People are gonna go to this match ID on the Han website, and they're gonna see the game lasts an hour and 10 minutes, and then MSI has a Soulstealer with the level 5 codex and spell shots, and people are just gonna be so confused as to what the heck went on in this game.
Yeah, really are. But for now, Legion team looked like they were thinking about making a push there finally in the bottom once again, but end up falling back. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they just want to wait for straight up another Kongor attempt at this point, which of course would be around 7 minutes or so from this point. So if that is the case, then we do have a while, unfortunately, before a team fight looks to happen once again. Oh, the meatball's low. That's not good. But so of course
the worst thing possible that could be happening right now.
That's the secret to winning the game. Actually, you kill that, you really do win. No, but so obviously
on Groups Crossing, it is the secret because it's behind the fact.
Yeah, that's true. That is kind of weird. So the Hellborn team, it's defend these racks at this point or lose. If these racks go down and if the Legion team gets mega creeps, then yeah, you got to figure the game would be over because it would just be too overwhelming to keep them off the Sacrificial Shrine as well as keeping the Hellborn or the Legion team off as their heroes. But if they keep the racks alive, they definitely still have that very, 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 very slight chance of somehow managing to make something happen here. Legion team, though, here we go. They got the creep field, so they're not going to wait for another Kongor. They're just going to go for, at least it looks like right here, as the creeps are leading the way, of course. So the melee racks, it is starting to tick down to about 875 life or so. Electrician starts to push out in front himself. Glacius also throwing out a little bit of Tundra Blast damage. Here we go. There's the Static Shock onto Polywire Priest. Soulstealer also jumps in. Ooh, not the greatest ultimate, but he does combo on a Voodoo Jester to easily kill him. Sandwraith as he poured in. No, yeah, he does put in down here. In fact, taking out Glacius, and now he's turning his attention to Myrmidon. Myrmidon's starting to drop. We do see Take Cover going to be used by Bubbles. Dampier jumps in. Terrorize going to be used, and he drops one hero right there. Also gets a kill on a Polywire Priest. Sandwraith just cannot do enough focus damage, unfortunately, and the Legion team is doing a good job of really running away from him. We see right there, once again, Terrorized used on him, scaring him away, so they are perhaps going to save the racks, but oh, maybe not even. Sandwraith gets initiated on, trying to maybe drop Soulstealer. Not going to be enough, though. Down goes Sandwraith. Of course, he buys back right away. They're going for the melee racks. The melee racks and vulnerability going to be used. This is it. This is finally the game right here. The lockdown on the Sandwraith with the morph. He cannot do anything. The Wayfield to follow it up. He is chain stunned right now, and he will go down. Tampi actually goes down. Oh, no, never mind. He actually stayed alive through that. He flowed through him. There come the GG Well Plays, and finally, that is going to do it. Holy crap. It took forever. but Fnatic MSI, they are your GosuGamers World Cup champions. 6+ months of playing. Finally, it has come to an end. And MSI, they are crowned victorious. SK Gaming, though, they do not need to be disappointed. Just getting to the spot in the fashion that they did prove that they are a willing team. They are a team to look out for, and they are very, very deserving. Of course, they finished second. They'll take home the $5,000 prize, but MSI, $10,000 to them, the title of being the champions. Oh, what an ending. What a weird game.
That was... Although MSI won 3-0, it was still, that was more than entertaining enough for a final game. I'm not that disappointed.
Yeah, no, it's because somehow manages to go on forever. I mean, yeah, you can definitely argue that end up being very entertaining. You know, depending on what kind of games you like. I'm sure a lot of people out there are like, oh, this was just so boring, and they made it last longer than they should have. But hey, they were the ones playing, and it was MSI's choice to play the way that they did, and it's not SK Gaming's fault that they played that way. I mean, if they're going to give them a chance, they're going to take that chance. They're going to try to stay in the game. By all means, they should. And, well, they stuck in for a while. Angry Tessie is standing with play. You know, he tried his best to get as much farm up as possible. It was a great play all around, of course, from the support as well, but just not enough to hold them off. In the end, finally, MSI becomes victorious. But, wow, what a finish. They are your champions. Yeah. It's amazing that this tournament is finally over.
Yeah, no, and that was a great series to end it. It was a 3-0 series, kind of disappointing, but it was still a great series. And like you said, no need to be disappointed for SK. They did manage to beat EG in a big upset. And once again, MSI has proven that they are the #1 team in the world. And, like, there's no argument with that right now. MSI is probably the best team in Han right now, guaranteed.
Yeah, with this right here, I mean, yeah, you really can't argue anymore. They are the #1 team, and like the point I was making as well, maybe it is appropriate that they finish off with just an overwhelming victory, as they really could have had, but still probably did have 3-0 sweep in the end over SK Gaming, and they are at another level. They are at the top right now, and it's going to take quite a bit to dethrone a team such as Fnatic MSI with the way that they've been playing. But we've said that about many other teams in the past, and it has happened. So definitely, props to MSI, deserving to be where they are, of course. But, look forward to seeing the challengers step up and giving them finally a run for their money. But for now, MSI, they did not lose. They only lost one game throughout the whole GosuGamers event. 6+ months of this tournament, they only lost one single game to Impunity. I'm sure that makes Impunity Gaming, the Southeast Asian team, feel a little bit happy about themselves. But yeah, in the end, MSI once again champions. So cannot say it enough, but it is so. Again, if you did miss any of the action, of course they will be on VOD on honcast.com, at the own.net or the own.tv channel as well, and then at GosuGamers. As I said, I'm sure they plan to upload somewhere themselves, and you'll be able to check it out wherever they do. So it's going to be many places to check it out. I want to get an interview, and I'm sure we can try to get one real quickly, so of course we'll try to get that. Your final thoughts, though, real quickly, Headhunter, before we wrap this up.
Yeah, I just think it was a great tournament overall, and that was a good series to end it, and just can't wait for the next tournament where we see some challenger go up against MSI. Who knows, maybe it could be Impunity. They did manage to beat them in the only game in the entire tournament, so who knows, maybe Impunity is the next big team.
Yeah, I mean, it is... there's obviously a lot of factors that come into play there, but yeah, who knows?
Exactly.
I wouldn't be surprised if, honestly, a Southeast Asian team is one of those teams, because they definitely have quite the community over there. But anyways, yeah, whoever it's going to be, I mean, for now, MSI, again, they deserve to be here, so not going to take any credit away from them whatsoever. They are here, and they are the #1 team in the world right now for many different reasons. This is just another big reason why, as they are victorious. So again, as I said, I'm going to try my best to get an interview. I'm sure we can at least get it with somebody from Fnatic MSI and get some questions out there. But for now, thanks for tuning in, guys. Again, I was Breaky CPK from honcast.com. Joining me was the Headhunter of GosuGamers.net. Really do appreciate it, guys. Check out both websites. A lot of coverage from both of us. And look forward to much more coverage in the future, as there's going to be more. This is definitely not the end of Han by any means. It is just the beginning, if anything, for the esports scene. So thanks for tuning in. Have a good night.
See you guys.
Okay, so